Where do you live? I want to know where you live.
We know where you live and we came to torment you.
The pick-me final boss has arrived. This is not wifey material. It's just literally material. It kind of reminds me of a certain YouTuber slithering his way to steal my content.
What did he say? I thought my jokes were bad.
To some degree, I lack empathy. You know who else has no empathy? Psychopaths. It's kind of like if you didn't wake up tomorrow, I also wouldn't care. I would just move on with my day. When something's useless, you throw it away. What are you gonna do about it?
What am I gonna do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do.
I believe that in life, people get exactly what they deserve. And in the case of Sniperwolf, we're witnessing a deserved downfall that's just as much about karma as it is the inevitable result of countless controversies. You see, in the digital world, horrendous actions like Leah's have some sort of a magical way of catching up to you.
I feel like everything bad about my reputation is based on lies that other people have made up. Imagine if people made up lies about you and they attack you based on those lies.
Ironically, that's the biggest lie of all time. Everything bad about Leah's reputation is based on definitive truths, and her constant gaslighting just like that is the exact reason why she has 34 million subscribers, yet the only people who defend her are literal children and the simps that buy her atrocious merch.
Yeah, that brother's starving.
And although some might think that Leah is too big to fail, she's not the exception to actions having consequences. The fact of the matter is, she's too evil to continually succeed, and people are finally starting to notice.
Oh, well, if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
For years, Leah has been one of the most influential people on this entire platform, and her rise to the top over the past few years hasn't just been about numbers. It was about intentionally crafting an image that even YouTube themselves was more than happy to endorse. And as a result of this, she's been touted as YouTube's golden girl, and she's been promoted to tens of millions of children across the world as some nice, innocent woman who can do no wrong.
Hello, friends, it's me.
Just because someone's nice doesn't mean they have good intentions.
Even salt can be made to look like sugar, and this is where YouTube's so-called golden girl becomes the golden problem, because ultimately, no one can get away with doing the things that Leah has consistently done to people over the course of her career and not eventually fall flat on their face. You cannot steal content from others without even thinking about crediting a single person for years on end. You cannot dox a creator's home and make them fear for their safety. You can't file false copyright strikes on everyone you personally dislike. You cannot accuse others of stealing your entire personality while knowing for a fact that you've stolen theirs. And most importantly, you can't be a role model for millions of children out there if you're going to be as evil as Leah has time and time again been proven to be.
My daughter, my 10-year-old, loves Sniperwolf.
Sniperwolf?
That is a problem, and I think it's time that I take care of this problem.
All you care about is money. This town, it deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm gonna give it to him.
Let me creep into your prison cell. Hey baby, can you tell I'm not a criminal?
Right off the bat, I want to talk about Leah's track record of being placed in a cage. If you didn't know, Sniperwolf has been arrested not just once, but twice, which means that Leah has literally sat in a jail cell by herself on numerous occasions based strictly on behavior that she chose to do as a fully grown adult.
That's a way to live. It's called being a criminal.
Now, these mugshots are from a while back, they're 10 and 7 years old, and obviously everyone makes mistakes in life. Ideally, those mistakes don't get you placed in a cell, but either way, if you're like most normal people, you typically learn from your mistakes and become a better person over time. The problem with Leah is that she hasn't really demonstrated any sort of positive change since being arrested, and I think her own words sum it up best.
Yeah, I'll just go to jail real quick, come out. Okay, let's repeat.
The only growth she has demonstrated to the world over the past few years is the ability to grift as a family-friendly content creator. But behind the scenes, she's just as vindictive as ever, as we can see here from this DM that she recently sent some random guy on Twitter, where she says, "Post my better mugshot, you rat." Luckily for her, I posted both of them, so we shouldn't have any issues with that.
You got me there.
So Leah hasn't gotten better over over time, she's only managed to get better at hiding her spiteful behavior, and I'd actually make the argument that she's only managed to get worse since being placed in a cell twice, and that's exactly why I'm bringing this up. One of Leah's arrests was for armed robbery, and still to this day, she continues to steal. The only difference between now and then is that she stopped getting caught, which, by her own admission, is still stealing.
It's only stealing if you get caught.
No, it's still stealing. You just didn't get caught.
You see, Leah's entire channel nowadays is literally just watching other people's content with the face cam on, barely reacting to it, and then repeating that process for hours on end on a daily basis, and she has been doing that exact same thing for about 5 years now.
Bro has a bag of, what is that, Kool-Aid? What happened? Bro was so excited towing his slushy bag a second ago, went to take a sip. I just fell in the crusty, musty dirt water. You better hope that's a chalky milk pond. That's gross.
I want you to take a step back here and really put yourself in Leah's shoes. Imagine how mind-numbing it must be to be a 31-year-old human being who just describes TikToks for numerous hours a day, every single day, as a full-time job.
I don't know if I like it or I hate it. It's a monkey in a diaper and a coat.
Yes, Leah, that is a monkey in a diaper and a coat. Assuming that you're not blind, you can clearly see there is a monkey on the screen and what he's wearing. Just imagine how bizarre it would be if I uploaded an entire 10-minute reaction video to Leah's content in the same exact way she reacts to other people's content. She's a woman in a white shirt and glasses. I did that once, and I already feel like I've sold my soul, but Leah has been doing exactly that as a career for more than 5 years now. That is blasphemous.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy.
And this woman absolutely has gone insane from watching so many TikToks. Anyone who's consumed as many TikToks as Leah has over the course of the last 5 years has had their brain absolutely fried by that app, and I would assume that's why her commentary lacks any sort of actual substance 100% of the time.
Great content, you know?
Got an entire bear. Aren't brown bears the dangerous ones? Yeah, the grizzly bears. A bro has a whole grizzly bear in his kitchen.
Yes, bro certainly does have a whole ass grizzly bear in his kitchen. We are very observant today, aren't we? That is absolutely what is happening in this TikTok that you definitely didn't steal.
And he brushing his teeth. Yeah.
And I want to make this clear, there is a night and day difference between a real reaction video and what Leah does. I've made multiple reaction videos myself, and every single one of them is a bulletproof example of fair use. So that means that if anyone ever copyright striked one of those videos, I'd be more than happy to go to court over it and win. In all honesty, I'm actually kind of hoping for it. I think it'd be pretty badass to do my face reveal in court, but enough about my fantasies. I've outlined the differences between a good and a bad reaction video here in terms of fair use, but just to quickly summarize, to make a fair use reaction video, you have to actually transform the content that you're reacting to. It cannot be a market replacement for the original video, so you basically just can't do this.
This dude is digging and digging and digging and digging. What's in it?
Everyone say robbery!
Robbery!
Oh, look at those dimples.
So now that we all understand the difference between fair use and what Leah does, I think anyone who's not a sniper simp can acknowledge the fact that it would be incorrect to claim that Leah's content isn't just straight up theft. I mean, even Leah herself agrees with me.
And you can't just take somebody else's content and re-upload it and monetize it.
That one didn't age quite so well.
And the biggest thing which solidifies her as a content thief is the fact that she used to intentionally cut the usernames out of the TikToks that she would react to, which is just appalling to me because she's made millions and millions of dollars off of these people's backs, and if it weren't for their videos, Leah would most likely be unemployed right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard finding a job because I'm a criminal.
If your entire job relies on just watching content that other people make and then describing what's going on the screen, the very least you can do is credit the people whose content you produce income off of. That is not an irrational thing to ask for, but what is irrational is how Leah responds to criticism, as seen with the infamous doxing of Jacksfilms.
Here's the thing, SSSniperwolf, you actually have to link them in the description. You can't just like say it and then not link them, right? You actually have to like make an effort to credit the creators.
This is arguably the most atrocious thing I've ever covered on this channel, but unfortunately it's a real thing. The best thing Leah could think of in response to Jack's very mild criticism, where he claimed that Leah should credit the creators she stole from, was to first post this Instagram story proving that she was planning out the fact that she was gonna go to dox Jack. Then she decided to show up to Jack's home in real life while he was still live streaming.
I take it too far all the time, if you know what I mean.
Hold on, hold on, stop. What's going on?
Hold on.
Go look in the general.
Oh shit. Yeah, hold on.
Pause? Yeah, pause. This is like...
Yeah, hold on.
This is tea.
Is she like trying to dox you right now?
I don't know, but that's
that
really
like
sketchy.
yeah, that's
not good.
really sketchy. That's like
That's
extremely,
so sketchy.
Nah, fuck that.
How would she know where you live though?
How the fuck does she know where we live? Leave me alone.
Fuck. I'm sorry.
She's in the house right now, Jack.
Shut up.
She's about to get a
literally
knock
outside
on your
your house.
door. Like 5 minutes ago posted.
Wait, what?
She's literally right outside your
Oh
house.
my god.
This is happening right fucking now. Call the fucking police.
Fucking sue
Actually.
her.
Wait, what?
Call the police.
No, there's
I'm
a
not joking.
video.
She's outside your house right now.
Look, it's one thing to criticize someone over the internet, but escalating it to that next level and showing up to the guy's home for making tame, charitable, and valid criticisms crosses the line. Leah didn't just attempt to confront Jack in person, she intentionally publicized exactly where he and his wife sleep every single night to her more than 5 million followers on Instagram, and that is nothing short of despicable no matter how you spin it. And what makes this situation even worse is the garbage that she posted shortly after the doxing in an attempt to defend herself.
Accusing me of doxing is defamation. I have no idea how to dox. He literally posted his address on Google and said I threatened him and doxed him.
First of all, nobody is accusing Leah of doxing. She did it, and we know that because she posted the proof of her doing the doxing to her own public Instagram story.
If you're gonna break the law and be a criminal, the least you can do is be a little smart about it.
Me saying that Leah doxed Jack is not an accusation. It is a statement of fact. And although I'm not a lawyer, I'm pretty sure it's not defamation for me to state that fact publicly. And because it's such not defamation, I've even gone as far as creating this custom DoxxerWolf meme, and it's still not defamation.
Oh shit!
Second, if anyone buys a home in California, it's public record. Jack did not post his own home address on Google. Why and how on earth would he even do that? Is she accusing him of buying Google ads in an attempt to dox himself to ensure that his address is on Google? Again, I'm no legal expert, but considering the fact that anyone who disagrees with me is literally slandering and defaming me, that sure as hell sounds like defamation to me.
It's not slander if it's true.
Oh, hell no.
And then, the day after doxing Jacksfilms, she had the audacity to mock Jack by posting this Instagram story with her sister, which reads, "We show up to your house, what are you doing?"
Relax.
Leah.
I was aiming for the mailbox. I'm just trying to make a point.
Good morning.
Leah.
So although I often speak out against deplatforming, doxing someone because they criticized you in an attempt to silence them is such an egregious off-platform behavior that I can totally understand why people are saying she should have been deplatformed for this. Specifically given the fact that Leah has spoken out against stalking and respecting people's privacy in the past.
Like, don't do that. Don't follow people home. Like, please respect my privacy, respect any other YouTuber's privacy, because it's hard to believe, but you know, we're people just like you, like exactly like you. We're not special or anything. Like, I'm a person too. You wouldn't like it if somebody followed you home or came up to your house. So, you know, just like respect other people, respect their privacy.
So when Leah gets stalked and harassed, it's bad, and she asks people not to do that to her. But when she takes time out of her day to do exactly that, then post the proof of her doing that to the internet for everyone to see, it's totally fine.
Okay, hypocrite.
Now, on the other hand, I do totally understand why Leah wasn't exactly a fan of Jax. I think if anyone made more than 40 videos criticizing a particular individual, regardless of how tame those criticisms are, of course that person is not exactly going to be a fan of the person criticizing them.
This guy's entire channel is just me. Every single video for the past few months has been about me. And it's just like on me. And then his streams. This dude is just like low-key harassing me. Like, should I get a restraining order?
Wait, hold up. I tried being charitable for 2 sentences. Then I hear that she wants to get a restraining order against the guy that she doxed? Objection! Your Honor, the plaintiff is clearly
delusional, living in her own world.
Anyways, obviously the rational response to someone doing something you don't like isn't to go and dox the guy, then turn around and accuse the person you doxed of harassing you, and this is where Leah's blatant lack of brain cells becomes a real world problem. Because in the docs, she specifically said she just wants to talk. If she just wanted to talk, she could have easily just made a video responding to each and every one of Jack's points. There was never anything stopping her from responding to Jack's criticisms of her. In fact, she actually would have produced a lot of income off of responding to Jack in a reasonable manner. So she actually had a monetary incentive to do so. However, she didn't respond because she couldn't, due to the fact that she lacks self-sufficiency. You see, Leah is a rich and famous YouTuber with 34 million subscribers who doesn't know how to make a thumbnail, doesn't know how to edit a YouTube video, doesn't know how to write a script, and by her own admission, doesn't know how to make a very, very simple YouTube video without the assistance of someone else.
He helps me record my videos because who the fuck is gonna help me record my videos? I need someone to help me record videos. And honestly, I don't want to like get in my personal life and be like, but I like go psycho, like I go crazy if he doesn't help me record my videos. So I'm like, if you don't want any problems, you can help me record my videos because I'll make your life hell.
Obviously, there's nothing wrong with getting someone to help you with your videos, but there is something wrong with being a talentless hack. Leah has made more than 3,000 videos since 2013. Out of those 3,000 plus, I challenge you to find one single video on the entirety of Leah's channel that requires the effort of 2 grown adults.
It does not exist.
Basically, every video on her channel is either video game gameplay, which she wasn't even playing most of the time, according to her own ex-husband, and a voiceover which consists of Leah just talking out of her ass, or it's just her watching other people's videos. Yet, she still had the audacity to say, I go psycho, I go crazy if someone doesn't help me. That is an inexcusable level of incompetence. Imagine if an employee at McDonald's required the assistance of someone else to put the meat onto the bun. They would be fired immediately. Yet, that is a task which is just as difficult as the content Leah makes, and she still needs help with it. So, although I do understand why Leah wasn't happy with Jack, Leah's incompetence makes the doxing of Jacksfilms Jacksfilms even worse, because Leah never even had the chance to respond to Jack like a normal adult would due to the fact that 1, she put herself in an indefensible situation by stealing the work of others and not crediting anyone for years on end, and 2, without the help of another human, she doesn't even have the skill required to adequately defend herself because she requires external help for research, script writing, thumbnails, editing, and even posting the videos, which is essentially just every aspect of making a YouTube video. So she resorted back to the only thing she knows how to do, which is bullying her critics into shutting up. And the worst part about this whole doxing situation is the fact that once again, Leah ultimately ended up facing 0 repercussions for her actions. All YouTube did in response to this universally agreed upon disgusting action was temporarily demonetize her, which makes no difference at all to anyone because Leah's already in the top 1% wealthiest people worldwide. So at the end of the day, Leah got exactly what she wanted, which is for Jack to stop talking about her, and she ended up with nothing but a slap on the wrist. And while I can't speak for Jack and why he stopped making videos about Leah after all this went down, I can sure as hell speak for myself.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
This is my home. They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here. They're gonna need to send in the National Guard fucking SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere.
With that being said, let me make this very, very clear. The doxing was bad, and it is something that should be universally condemned, but the doxing is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Leah's indefensible actions. Keep in mind, if she could have gotten away with it, she would have been filing false copyright strikes on Jack, and I can only say that because she's already done exactly that to numerous other YouTubers, including a 15-year-old YouTuber named Harassment. And she also did that exact same thing to a YouTuber named Enigmahood back in the day. So Leah has a verifiable and consistent track record of falsely copyright striking people's videos about her, strictly because she didn't like the words they had to say about her, which has absolutely nothing to do with copyright. And what's most perplexing to me about Leah and the content that she currently makes is the fact that she actually used to criticize others for making lazy content.
The reason I'm making this video is because this girl is like Taylor Swift level snake. She is playing the victim harder than Keemstar is, and it is in the worst possible way. Her job is literally sitting in front of a camera for like an hour, couple hours a day, playing with yourself.
If we just remove the last part of that statement, she just described herself, a snake who constantly plays the victim, and her job is just sitting in front of a camera.
It's like exactly what I do on YouTube.
Projection is actually Leah's signature move in life. She calls out someone else for doing something that she doesn't like, while knowing for a fact she's doing that exact same thing and has every intention of continuing. And then, for the ultimate form of hypocrisy, she goes on Darman's channel and virtue signals about how bad it is to hate on other people.
But what I've learned is that when somebody hates on you, it's usually because they're unhappy with their own lives.
Leah, by that same logic, you're the unhappiest person on the entire planet. There are so many different examples of Leah projecting her insecurities onto others that I honestly don't think any human can even count that high, but just to show you exactly how consistently deluded Leah is, we'll go through just a few of them. My personal favorite one is when she used to call out other women for photoshopping their pictures.
I don't Photoshop any of my pics. I don't have time for that shit. You think I got time to take a selfie, put it on my computer, Photoshop that, send it back to my phone, post it on Instagram? Hell no!
That was a lie. She absolutely has time to Photoshop pictures. I would be willing to bet every single dollar I've ever made that no matter what time you're watching this, Leah is either watching TikToks, sleeping, or just doing nothing right this second.
That's true.
In all seriousness, for her to pretend like a full-time content creator doesn't have 5 minutes to Photoshop a picture is disrespectful to the intelligence of her audience. But either way, if Someone photoshops their pictures, who cares? We all know there's a very large percentage of people on Instagram who do this, and complaining about it will not change that fact. The only time it really matters is when it's so blatantly obvious that you can't help but not point out the fact that a particular picture is photoshopped, like this.
What the F is this, OG?
What do you mean?
What is this?
Seriously, what is this? Her face is a completely different color than the rest of her skin, yet she still looked at this photo before she posted it and made the conscious choice to upload it to the internet, thinking that no one would notice.
I can't imagine somebody would do this and think it looks legit and actually post it on social media and people believe it.
Now, I'm not gonna go in depth on every example of Leah photoshopping her pictures. Nerd City did a great job explaining Leah's horrendous Photoshop fails extensively a few years back, but once again, I personally couldn't care less whether or not someone else photoshops their pictures. But I do care about the fact that Leah is a multi-millionaire who can afford to pay the best photo editors in the world, who still went on to post these egregiously poor, inarguably photoshopped pictures while simultaneously calling out other women for photoshopping their pictures. That is inexcusable.
This dude is straight up hypocrite. Like,
another great example of Leah being a straight up hypocrite is the fact that she used to criticize other women for getting plastic surgery.
I don't have any plastic surgery. Let me just clear that up right now. Everything is 100% real. And will I ever get some? No, it's just, I don't know. Have you ever thought about getting plastic surgery? Yeah, I actually wanted to, and I'm sure most girls at one time thought about getting plastic surgery because Instagram and celebrities and everything, it really influences you because all of them got fake tits, all of them got a nose job, all of them got like 10 million surgeries. After I met Sausage, I feel like I talked to him about it and he made me feel really good about myself, and he hates fake tits, fake anything. Girl, the only medical bills you are paying is for that nose, the lips, the tits, and the ass.
Okay, so she won't ever get plastic surgery, and she's willing to go out of her way to criticize other women who get plastic surgery, while knowing that we can all see the evidence that she looks like a completely different person between now and when she started YouTube. Now, I don't know exactly what's happened to her face, but at the very least, Leah has verifiably gotten a nose job. That's inarguable.
I'm going to the doctor soon, and I already booked the appointment, so my surgery is confirmed. I paid for it, so it's all set and done. I'm having surgery in April. So the whole point of my surgery, I am getting a septoplasty. I know it sounds like rhinoplasty, which is a nose job, which is for cosmetic purposes. That's like if you don't like your nose, you fix it. Personally, I really like my nose. My mom says I have the best nose in the family, which I kind of do. Is that an asshole thing to say? Septoplasty is like a medical nose job where they fix like what's wrong inside of it, which is if you have a deviated septum like me, that means your airway is crooked. So there's a picture of a normal nose and there's a picture of a deviated septum. You see how the airway is all crooked? When you get septoplasty, they straighten out your airway.
Although she denies it, she most likely didn't get a septoplasty, she got a rhinoplasty, which is a cosmetic nose job. Which is why in this video from April of 2017, which is when she said she was going to get the surgery, she admits to having a very, very bad black eye on numerous occasions.
I feel like I don't look like myself right now. It's so weird. I have a black eye, but you can barely see it. I like put some makeup on over it. Oh, I shouldn't wipe my makeup. Shit. I kind of wiped it and now you can sort of see it. I don't have any makeup on besides covering my black eye.
Now, keep in mind, if you get a septoplasty, which is what Leah claims to have gotten, in most cases you do not get a black eye. And although I'm no plastic surgeon, to the best of my knowledge, the shape of your nose doesn't change in the way that Leah's verifiably has over the years from a septoplasty. Now, if you want to get cosmetic nose surgery, go ahead. Where Leah and I live, it's a free country, and most people do not care about what another adult chooses to do to their own face. But people do start to care when she criticizes other women on video for getting plastic surgery while knowing for a fact that we know she's gotten plastic surgery.
You say I'm not confident with my body, but I didn't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars to look like this.
Again, that is a bald-faced lie. Leah has literally spent thousands and thousands of dollars just to purchase a whole new face.
How you go from this to this? Plastic surgery? I
refuseth to believe that this is the same person.
The reality is, Leah's criticisms of other women have no actual meaning, because she's just deflecting her discomfort with her own choices onto others, which is a very immature defense mechanism typically used by children. I think that she genuinely believes that if she calls other people out for things that she does, people won't criticize her for the things that she knows she's going to continue to do.
And we got this girl. She already doing the pose. Break your back to make it look like you got an ass pose unless you got lordosis. I got lordosis, so like when I'm standing straight, my back automatically curves like this. So you can't make fun of me. But it's like, damn, obviously this wasn't enough.
Leah stands the flattering way that most girls stand on Instagram, but when they do it, it's fake. And when she does it, it's because she has a medical condition. She has a doctor's note to be a thought. Very unusual.
Leah lying about having a doctor's note to be a thought goes way further than just that. She can't even look at a woman in a video game without coping about her alleged lordosis.
We got Widowmaker, she got lordosis. You see this? It's like me. You see how my back curves like that? My back curves like that. How she has it. It's not even her ass is that big if you look at her. Her ass is just nicely shaped. It's not even like big. It's not like Kim Kardashian booty or anything.
Now, I know this might sound kind of weird to hear, but I genuinely think that Leah is a straight up misogynist. Not in the traditional sense like our friend Pearl.
I recently decided that women should vote. I don't think women should vote. I don't think women should vote. Lord Jesus, you should vote. What? No, I shouldn't. No, seriously.
But by definition, I think that Leah has a dislike, contempt, or ingrained prejudice against other women. Based on her actions, I think that Leah looks at other women as some sort of a competition for herself. And I'm only saying that because Leah has a consistent track record of straight up bullying other female content creators.
If you even care to look me up before posting your video, you would see that I'm a YouTuber like yourself, and I had recently just posted on this channel a video that I am trying to overcome depression, something you like to speak about too a lot, right? So what are you doing bullying and bringing down young women on a platform with 11 million subscribers? Is that how you're going to use your voice? Is that what you're trying to do with your platform?
And I find Leah's track record of bullying other female content creators to be quite ironic because she often pretends to be anti-bullying.
That's why bullying is bad. Girl, she said anti-bullying. You literally the bully. You the people they anti.
And I think the reason why she constantly targets specifically women when calling others out, even when they're a video game character, is because she's insecure with who she is internally.
Talia asked, what are you most insecure about? Some people get the impression that they think I'm like some stuck-up girl who thinks she's perfect. It's actually the opposite. Honestly, there are so many things. I'm not gonna list things because it's just grounds for people that I hate on it, and I know people will just attack me based on that stuff, so I kind of don't let people know my insecurities.
And Leah's insecurities even go as far as her making completely unfair generalizations about all women YouTubers based on the actions of one individual. For example, let's take a look at what Leah had to say about Alissa Violet back in the day.
Is your name Alyssa?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, if you're not, like, he's boosting her, like, on YouTube. Like, just putting her and everything. I know, he better, no, but she's, I think she's dating his friend. Yeah, her roommate. She's just like, I'm gonna just fuck everybody to get a free room.
Oh my god.
This is why I hate girls. Everyone a hoe.
Yeah. Hey, who's that new girl he has, like, Summer
I
or
don't
something?
know.
Is that a model?
Oh my god, that's not a model. If that's a model, my left toe can be a model.
Okay, let's really break down the blasphemy we just heard in that clip. FaZe Banks at that time was dating a girl named Alissa Violet, which is who Leah was talking about. And unfortunately, he was somehow one of the biggest YouTubers at that time.
Win or lose, baby, we out here collecting checks, snapping necks, flex, baby.
So Banks did, at the very least, boost Alyssa's career, for sure, but coming from Leah, that means nothing. As we can see here in the lawsuit filed by Leah's ex, Evan Young, he is and was at all times heavily involved in the creative content and operations of the SSSniperwolf channel, including concept origination, development, script writing, directing, video editing, and posting the videos. If that's not boosting her career, I honestly don't know what is. Next, she says, "This is why I hate girls." everyone a hoe, which makes absolutely no sense. Alissa Violet is in fact a woman, but she was never in any way a representative of women across the world. An adult should not be taking the actions of one individual who just so happens to be a woman or a man and pretend like that's a representation of all the 3 billion adult women in the world.
It's the internalized misogyny for me.
This clip is a perfect example of what I like to call gamer girl disease.
Oh, well, we gotta pick me. I'm not like other girls. I don't like flowers.
Leah was intentionally trying to pander to her simp audience at the time, and her way of doing that was this bizarre, childlike behavior where she would just villainize all other women. It was essentially her way of implicitly telling her audience that all those other girls suck, they're terrible, but Leah is the good one.
I definitely have a butt, okay? I have a butt! I have a butt!
I don't know how in the world this strategy actually worked on anyone. I personally find this behavior to be straight up repulsive, but if you are or even were one of those viewers of Leah's who bought into this pick-me behavior, I just have one message for you.
Because she got a great ass! And you got your head all the way up it!
Another great example of Leah intentionally targeting other female content creators was when Leah called out this YouTuber named Raya, or Girl Gone Gamer, for faking her gameplay videos. Now, whether or not Girl Gone Gamer was or wasn't faking her gameplay, I don't know, but regardless of whether or not she was right, the reasoning Leah used to reach her conclusion was simply ridiculous. It's a 7-minute video, and literally all she said was that because Raya didn't do a live commentary video, her gameplay was fake, while simultaneously recording a video that wasn't a live commentary.
And there have been hundreds of comments on my videos about how she's not the one playing, and before you fanboys go crazy and attack me, listen to me. Thousands of her subscribers asked her to do a live commentary. Well, because she's a gamer, isn't she? Hence, Girl Gone Gamer. And after 400,000, she hasn't even done a live commentary?
So if we just apply that same genius logic to Leah, she also faked her gameplay in that same video because her video wasn't a live commentary. And the only other reason she gave as to why Girl Gone Gamer was faking her gameplay was because Leah asked Raya to 1v1 in COD and she blocked her.
It's definitely not about exposure, at least it wasn't before, and if she didn't want to, she could just decline, that's fine, and I would prefer a reason, but why block? It gives me and a lot of my subscribers the impression that she doesn't actually get her gameplays.
So because Raya was scared to 1v1 in Call of Duty, her gameplay was fake. By that exact same logic, if Leah is scared to debate me on all the points that I make in this video, then I'm automatically correct about every single subject.
God damn it, Gump! You're a goddamn genius! That's the most outstanding answer I've ever heard. You must have a goddamn IQ of 160. You are goddamn gifted, Private Gump.
Now, using her incredible galaxy brain argumentation, Leah somehow managed to double her subscriber count just from that one video calling out Girl Gone Gamer, and she went from around 50,000 subscribers to more than 100,000 just about 2 weeks later. And in my opinion, that set a horrible precedent for Leah and her future on the platform, because it proved to her that if she just produces horrendous content, no matter how mind-numbingly stupid it is, people will still watch it in mass quantities as long as she puts it out consistently.
Yup, no talent, no degree. Oh, just become a YouTuber. Anyone can do it.
And the argumentation in that video actually becomes way worse when you take into account that, according to the lawsuit filed by Leah's ex, in addition to boosting her career in every possible way, he claimed that he was the one playing the video games in her videos. So I would assume that includes in the video where Leah called out Raya for faking her gameplay. That is psychotic.
You psycho crazy lady.
Another great example of Leah trying her best to slander other women who make YouTube videos is what she did to a YouTuber named DaisyMichelle. Daisy made gameplay commentary videos just like Leah did back in the day, and according to Daisy, after seeing that Leah called out Girl Gone Gamer for faking her gameplays, Daisy called out Leah for also faking her gameplays.
She made a video about Girl Gone Gamer being fake, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay. And then I saw some things on Google about SSSniperwolf being fake. So I honestly, there's a bunch of proof about her being fake, and I honestly won't believe it. Just look into it, and there's a lot of stuff online you can find about her. So I told her, you know, I was like, why are you making this stuff about Girl Gone Gamer when you're fake, blah, blah, blah.
And obviously, Leah, being the sensitive crybaby that she's always been, did exactly what you would expect her to do.
She, one day she came on one of my videos with a false account. She started insulting me with those fake accounts, calling me a slut, saying that was an intention, blah, blah, blah. And I confronted her on Twitter. I was like, well, she said that I was a fake girl gamer. And I was like, I'm not fake, blah, blah, blah. She's like, why don't you do a face cam or live hand cam? So I did one. And after that, that's when she started to use fake accounts to copyright my videos. Then I made a video about girl using their bodies for subs and views. Apparently, she knows that she does that. That's why she got so butthurt at that video that she copyrighted it. Then she started copyrighting a bunch of other random videos that had nothing to do with her, nothing to do with anything.
And not only did Leah file multiple false copyright strikes against Daisy, she was low IQ enough to file the first false DMCA strike under her own second channel. Then immediately after that, she started filing the rest of them in Daisy's name.
Let me mention this. What she's doing, copywriting, is illegal, and that's why she's using fake accounts, so she doesn't get her first main channel taken down. But she made the slight mistake to copyright my first video that she did with her second channel. That's how I know all those other copyrights were her with fake accounts.
As if any content creator would ever in a million years copyright strike their own video.
This guy is so stupid, I want to punch him.
So yet again, this is another example of Leah abusing the copyright system on YouTube in an attempt to silence another critic of hers. I genuinely think Leah's point of view on copyright is that anyone who criticizes her in any possible way—
that's copyright. You won't cut me a check for that?
No happening. Yeah, we are allowed an opinion. Yeah, we're allowed an opinion.
And at the core of the issue here, Leah was only trying to censor criticism against her from people like Daisy because she knows those criticisms were correct.
It hurts because I know it's true,
And frankly, Leah's pattern of behavior where she consistently abuses the copyright system as a tool to silence criticism is just unacceptable. And it's especially hypocritical given the fact that Leah has now made millions of dollars and built an entire career based on making non-transformative reaction content.
what a useless member of society. Look at you, doing so good.
And the #1 woman that Leah has straight up bullied for years on end is a YouTuber named Azzyland. Azzy is one of the biggest content creators on all of YouTube. She has about 13 million subscribers, and I will admit, on the surface, these two might appear to be similar. They both make reaction content, they're both around the same age, they're charismatic, famous, rich. Honestly, they could even be twins.
There's two of them.
But there is one fundamental difference between the two. Unlike Leah, people in general like and respect Azzy. Externally, they might appear to be similar, but internally, they are polar opposites.
I want a clone. I really want a clone so that I could do more things in a day. But she'd be really evil
and take over the world, and it would suck.
Leah is the evil clone. She steals content, describes it, and doesn't credit anyone. Azzy links directly to the videos she reacts to in the descriptions. Azzy runs a charity to raise money for sick children and has personally donated more than $100,000 of her own money. Leah hoards all her ad revenue and probably stashes it under her mattress. Leah is arrogant, narcissistic, and insufferable. Azzy is humble, altruistic, and empathetic. With that being said, I think it's a bit unfair to even compare the two. In fact, I'm gonna go full on simp mode and say that it's not just unfair to compare the two, it's straight up disrespectful to compare snakes to diamonds.
Yes, I'm a simp.
Supra-physiological, ingenious, majestic, phenomenal specimen.
Come on in, come on in.
Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go home and have a heart attack.
Okay, back to the point. Leah has recently been accused of stealing Azzyland's entire life in a recent video by Nerd City, and after reviewing the evidence, specifically the projection, which includes Leah claiming that Azzy copied her, I can't help but side with Nerd City and Azzyland.
When this person started pointing fingers towards me and started bullying me and trying to
bring me down.
How were they accusing you? Like, what did that look like from your side of things?
It was a lot of things. At the very beginning, it actually started off with none of that happening. It was just like a few mean tweets, which kind of painted us as like enemies when it didn't need to be like that. I don't have any enemies, so. And then it turned into taking every idea that did well, but because they had more following than me, their video would just get more views, and so people would see their video first and then assume that their video was first.
I think the most egregious, irrefutable example of Leah straight up copying Azzy would be the house tours that they both posted to their channels, which Azzy posted on December 30th, 2018, and Leah posted on July 13th, 2019, where they both wear what looks to be the same dress in the same color. They coincidentally both have the exact same hairstyle, and in general, the videos are just eerily similar.
This is a mirror. I like mirrors. Mirrors are important. And this is my favorite mirror. So I wanted this mirror for the longest time. I love this mirror, and then we finally got it, and it doesn't really go with the house. So this is my walk-in closet that I completely designed.
My God.
Got it all done, and
this is
but
like
I'm
heaven.
gonna show this
This
in a
is
different
like
video.
heaven.
I'm gonna show
Close
this
the door.
I'm gonna show this in a different video. I'm gonna show you the closet because I'm actually gonna do this on my second channel where I do a closet tour. So if you guys wanna see the closet, make sure you check out my second channel.
This is just insane. The fact that Leah copied Azzy's house tour and tried to one-up her by showing off a bigger and better house, especially when you take into account the dates, the hair, the outfits, it's just creepy.
I get it, man. You love somebody so much, you think they're perfect in every way, and you decide to copy their every move. Can't relate.
This behavior is maniacal. It's not even about the fact that Leah copied her house tour, it's much deeper than that. By intentionally copying Azzy's style, down to the dress and hair, Leah wasn't just trying to emulate her, she didn't just take inspiration from her like a normal person would, she was intentionally attempting to overshadow Azzy's original content by making her own version of the same exact video. And the fact that Leah constantly goes out of her way to call Azzy out for copying her, knowing that she copied Azzy, is just psychotic. There's no two ways about it.
Remember to always be yourself, unless you suck. Then pretend to be somebody else. And that's on Azzyland.
Now, despite the fact that Leah claims that Azzy copied her, Azzy claims that Leah has straight up stolen at least 50 videos from her directly.
How many times have you noticed that she's copied your thumbnails or a title or whatever? Did you ever bother to count them?
Things that are like very obvious, like exact replicas, it's minimum like 50. But if you're not counting those, like up to 200.
Ones where you've got her dead to rights, like for sure, 50. And then some where it's like maybe just coincidental, but it's like partial copying, 200.
And although they both just make mindless reaction content for the most part, one thing I have to give credit to Azzy for is the fact that she didn't have to be called out time and time again in order to credit people whose content she used in her videos. Which is the exact opposite of Leah, where she would instruct, or at the very least, approve her editors going out of their way to crop out watermarks and not credit the people they steal from. And regarding the content theft allegations, it's undeniable that Leah has stolen from Azzy. There is mountains of evidence that Nerd City compiled proving that Leah has copied dozens of videos from Azzy. And the problem is that when she copies other people's videos directly, she can suppress other people's content in the algorithm because of how many subscribers she has. And although a lot of these are reaction videos to viral videos, which might inherently overlap, the 50 videos being stolen directly with evidence is too many for all this to just be some coincidence.
Hey man, can I copy your homework? Yeah, but change it up a little so the teacher don't notice.
Given the amount of undeniable evidence in this case scenario, combined with her constant projection, it's quite obvious that Leah has a severe case of imposter syndrome from what she knows she's done to Azzy over the years.
I mean, I get lots of messages that people have been doing this to me. Like, there's people that copy what I wear and even try to talk like me, which is, I think, creepy as fuck. Why would you want to talk like somebody else? Like, why? Like, y'all dislike yourself that much? Like,
yes, Leah, you very obviously dislike yourself. Leah has even gone as far as copying Azzyland's accent so much that Azzy had to stop talking in her own original accent because Leah stole her accent, then weaponized her fan base against her.
The ironic thing is, I wanted to separate myself so much from SSSniperwolf that I started forcing myself to not talk like that. And now I don't know how to talk like that anymore. I like forgot.
The fact that Azzy had to change her own natural accent to get away from controversy should tell us everything we need to know about the effects of Leah's bullying. Leah weaponizes her very large and impressionable fan base to prove that she's in the right, but the problem is Leah's fans are fetuses, so some random TikTok addicted 12-year-old is not exactly an arbiter of truth, in my opinion. Now, regarding the accent theft, no matter how you cut it, Leah's current accent makes no logical sense. Her accent is completely disconnected from where she grew up, and on top of that, she sounds like a completely different person now compared to how she did when she first started on YouTube.
Do you have a website or anything?
I have a YouTube. It's SSSniper. I have like gameplay and stuff, and I do vlogs.
Is it really necessary to talk like this?
And the reason why her current accent makes no sense is because over the years, she's carefully crafted the way she speaks based on how another human being talks.
When you promise to only eat one cookie.
I'm gonna be good tonight. I'm only gonna eat one Oreo. That's it.
This person should be a lawyer. He's like, you said one cookie.
The only one. Just one. That's it. This is so cringe.
This is so cringe.
First of all, nobody talks like this.
Then she accuses the person who she copied of copying her, knowing that she herself is the real copycat.
Cheap knockoff. Because essentially that's what it is when you're trying to be somebody you're not. What I think is a little sus is when people like straight up copy somebody, the way they talk, the things they wear, their hair, whatever, and like completely deny it.
If I ever became president of the United States, the first thing I would do is donate all of Leah's money to my personal bank account, and then I would immediately ship this person to North Korea just for this one clip.
Which one of you wants to be executed first? Tell me, huh? Boom. He freaking flinched. He's so stupid. Bang, bang.
And Leah's response to this whole Azzyland situation was nothing short of expected.
I have a backup of videos and screenshots before she changed the thumbnails to make it look like I copied her. I have proof she copied my thumbnails, SEO, the way I speak, the jokes I make. The way you're trying to manipulate this is fraud. And you will be hearing from her lawyers, I'm sure.
This woman is essentially just an AI at this point. I didn't even have to show you her response for you to know what her response was. She claims that she has all this proof of Azzy copying her, but she doesn't actually show any of it. Then, shortly after, she privates her entire Twitter so no one can see her tweets anymore.
Like, you got something to hide? What is it?
Anytime she gets accused of doing anything by anyone, she just accuses them of doing the same thing in response, just like she did when people accused her of stealing ideas, and just like she did with Jacksfilms.
It kind of reminds me of a certain YouTuber slithering his way to steal my content.
Which is the most childish thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, she also accused me of faking my gameplay, and I'm like, what? I'm like, have you seen my gameplay?
Like
it's trash.
She's like pre-written. Like you can predict what she's gonna say.
She just likes to project everything.
She's like ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. She's so woke. This is like what
She's like F you effing C word. You fake your gameplay and tries to punch me, and I was like,
oh my god.
This is an NPC that became famous by accident. Like she's a GTA character.
With all this in mind, I'm just baffled as to how one particular individual can be such a silly Billy.
So I am a dumb bitch. How can I not be so stupid and keep my husband? I want to keep him happy, and I think all the women listening too, they want to know the secrets to a good relationship.
I'll tell you the secrets.
Yeah, I'm writing them down.
Well, Leah, first of all, stop intentionally targeting women when you criticize people. You see, I'm a feminist by definition, which means that I believe in absolute equality, as long as you don't have an OnlyFans. So hypothetically, if Leah were a man who did and said the exact same things, none of the words that I said in this video would be different at all, because I judge individual humans as individuals, unlike Leah.
What? Why is he with me? Who is he? I don't know. Why is he? No, just look at him. Oh. Look, he's like buff and she's wearing like... Ooh! Why girls are asking about makeup? She's back? No, my hair looks red.
Leah clearly has some sort of deep-rooted hatred towards women as a whole, dating back more than 10 years, and it's disgusting.
You know, these kids fapping about her as just like some average, ugly Mexican bitch with a big-ass nose and bushy-ass eyebrows.
You're not pretty.
Second, stop playing the sexism card whenever you get criticized. It's corny, and anyone above the age of 12 can see that you're grifting to the simps. And it's quite ironic because Leah is arguably the most prominent woman hater on this entire platform who's not a red pill grifter.
Also, I hate bringing gender into this, but no one ever attacks the male React channels. Let me just check something real quick. Okay, that's a dude. That's a dude. Okay, cool.
Crying sexism every time you face criticism from someone of the opposite gender waters down genuine instances of sexism, which makes it much harder for other women to be taken seriously in real cases of sexism. But it's not like Leah cares about that anyways. Third, if you're going to criticize other people for doing things while recording yourself, like copying you, getting plastic surgery, faking their gameplays, just don't do those things after you've criticized other people for doing those things. I can't stress this enough. Most humans are hypocrites in one way or another, but when your actions regularly contradict the words that come out of your mouth, it discredits even the valid things you say, because after enough hypocrisy, eventually your word has no meaning. And last but certainly not least, if you want to actually keep a man around and not end up in divorce, start by improving who you are internally. I call out BS all the time on YouTube, but there's a fine line between holding people accountable, criticism, jokes, and being a bully who weaponizes your tens of millions of followers against the people you don't like and intentionally saying nothing to stop that behavior. That's just being nasty. And if you want people to even just respect you in general, then it's not just about what you bring to the table, it's about how you treat others at the table. With that being said, there's a pretty good reason why almost none of Leah's peers respect her.
So later they found out this woman is actually a fraud. And she's had not one but several mugshots. She's been in jail at least 7 times for fraud.
Hey everybody, I found someone new to harass. She did some things that I do not like in her past. So everybody gather round, cause we're about to attack. But based on facts, your loaded lethal weapon is your fingers on the keys. You don't need any armor when you can hide behind a screen. So shoot me down quick, hit the click and bang.
In addition to being a massive fraud, Leah is just a straight-up menace to society.
Why do you feel that way? The chat wants to know, that's why. The chat literally wants to know.
You wanna know why? Because he's racist, he's fucking homophobic, he's a fucking pedophile. He's all of that, bro. He's all of that, wrapped into one.
Now, I'm not sure if I'd personally go that far, but believe it or not, there is actually some truth there. If you didn't know, Leah used to make content on a website called Omegle, where she would consistently ask people under the age of 18 to do some things that I would personally consider to be quite inappropriate.
Hey girl, what's up? How old are you? I'm like 15. How old are you? Oh, 16, I'm 15. Oh, you're just like a year older than me. That's pretty cool. Wanna show each other? Sure. Yeah, I'll show you my beat. Oops. You first. I'm shy. Oh, damn, you work at Hooters too? Damn, you got enough money at Hooters to like get fake titties? I didn't know they pay that good.
Now, unfortunately, there is undeniable evidence, which is far, far worse than what I just showed. Based on my research, there are more than 10 different videos, which have all been saved on the Internet Archive, where she exhibits behavior just like that, and sometimes even worse. I have to be kind of vague here, but for example, in another instance, she asked 2 children who were clearly not of age to dance in quite an odd way for her in exchange for something else. I've reviewed the evidence here, and I would define these videos as deplorable at best, criminal at worst. But unfortunately, I can't show any of these clips due to the fact that YouTube has been taking videos down and age restricting videos which feature these clips, even though they were up on Leah's channel for well over 5 years with no issues.
Truth is,
game was rigged from the start.
But hey, if the game is rigged, I say bring it on. The righteous should have no reason to fear. Because in my opinion, the fact that Leah started deleting those Omegle videos once she started getting called out for those videos was nothing but an admission of guilt. If there was nothing to hide, there would be absolutely no reason for her to private those videos in the exact same week that she started getting called out for them. Now, I don't know why, but just like with the Miranda Sings situation from a few months ago, I think there's certain people out there who are downplaying the severity of how despicable this behavior truly is at its core. I hate to bring gender into this, but just like our friend Leah, I'm then going to follow that up by immediately bringing gender into this. If it were a grown man the exact same age as Leah was in those videos, asking two little girls to do exactly what Leah asked those kids to do in exchange for something else, then uploading the proof of them doing that to YouTube, that person would be permanently cancelled and ostracized from society. And rightfully so at that. There is not a single man on earth that can get away with asking what I believe to be a person under the age of 18 things like this.
Let's have babies. Let me impregnate you right now. Like right now. Babies? Yeah, let's have babies. I'd probably baby. I'll be the mom. You can be the dad. The mom, dad.
We have to adopt.
No, like we can have babies. We don't have to adopt them.
If we're both girls, your boyfriend and you, or what?
I don't have a boyfriend, but I have you.
Okay, but I'm a girl, so
that's all I need to make a baby.
No.
Yes.
No. I don't care about.
You don't care? I thought we were gonna have a baby together. How do you not care? You're being a neglectful parent right now.
In my opinion, regardless of the gender and social status of the perpetrator, what Leah did in those Omegle videos should be considered universally inexcusable. As I said in my last video, there is no greater evil on this planet than intentionally harming a child, regardless of what the intentions were.
Well, I was actually coming out here to pick up a cupcake and then go back home. There was, you know, nothing that was...
Shut your bitch ass up!
Yet this person who did those horrendous things on more than 10 separate occasions then went on to become a massive inspiration for tens of millions of children across the world. And at this point, given the unfortunate reality that Leah once again will not face any sort of real consequences for her vile and disgusting actions, I think the only solution in this case scenario is for her to whip out the old ukulele and sing the general public a nice little song about how she doesn't touch kids.
Yeah, man. We gotta definitely write a song about how we do not diddle kids. Do not diddle kids, it's no good diddling kids.
There is no quicker way for people to think that you are diddling kids than by writing a song about it.
Now, unfortunately, in classic Sniperwolf fashion, it actually gets worse. Remember that guy Enigmahood that I mentioned earlier? In addition to falsely copyright striking his videos about her, strictly because she didn't like what he had to say, she even went as far as making up some pretty horrendous accusations about him just because he criticized her.
A couple of years ago, he re-uploaded one of my videos, and you can't just take somebody else's content and re-upload it and monetize it. So I filed the copyright claim with YouTube trying to take it down. And in the copyright process, I got his real name, and of course I googled his name, and it turns out he is a registered sex offender.
That just wasn't true. It was pulled right out of her ass. I checked the sex offender registry in the state that Enigmahood lives in, and he's not on it. And after getting called out for this, she then doubled down in the comments and said she looked it up 2-3 years ago and he was on it. Hypothetically, if that were true, we really need to see proof, and if it is 100% true, let's all do everything we can to ensure that he gets banned instead of defended by the general public. But Leah will not ever provide the proof for this claim because it most likely was never true. If you're going to accuse someone of something of that nature, you can't just verbally say it out loud. Even when I said Leah did some pretty inappropriate things on Omegle, I at the very least showed the little amount of proof that I could. And given the Omegle videos that Leah has uploaded to this website, I think this might have just been another case of Leah projecting yet again.
Hello friends, it's me, and today we are back on Omegle.
I did say the age of consent should be 12.
Now, after deleting those initial Omegle videos, Leah made a very strategic move. She didn't just make another reaction video like she usually does, she intentionally decided to make another Omegle video for SEO purposes, so when you search SSSniperwolf Omegle on YouTube, her new Omegle video would show up at the top. And our friend Leah over here has actually used this same tactic where she manipulates search results to hide her controversies on numerous occasions now. For example, at the end of 2021, Sniperwolf ghosted a terminally ill 10-year-old child with cancer.
Oh my god!
Okay, I know that was a loaded sentence, so let's back up here for a second because this was truly heartbreaking, and what Leah did to this little girl was completely unacceptable, and in my eyes, this makes Leah completely irredeemable. In late 2021, Adam22 did a Make-A-Wish type of video for a 10-year-old named Kiara who was battling cancer at the time, and in that video, Adam asked Kiara who her favorite YouTuber was.
Who's your favorite person you follow on TikTok?
Sniperwolf. She's like a really big YouTuber.
Who's she say? Sniperwolf. You don't know about her. We gotta show you. You gotta put me on.
Now, I'm no fan of Adam's, but I have to give credit where credit is due. Adam did a fantastic thing for Kiara, and he even went above and beyond to get in touch with Leah so he could connect the two.
Appreciate you for coming. I'll work on the Sniperwolf thing for you.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna try to get in touch with her. I know some people who know her, so hopefully we can make it happen.
Wait, really?
Adam eventually did make it happen, and he connected Kiara's mother to Leah. And Leah sent her mother a DM asking to video chat. Then Leah said let's do it tomorrow, which was on Christmas. The next day, Leah says she didn't have time today, which was the initial day that she said she would. Now, her last message on Christmas said I'll let you know tomorrow, but then the next day, Leah never reaches out until Kiara's mom contacts her at 8 p.m. And Leah responds and says I can in 2 hours, which is 11 p.m. where they lived. As we're going through these messages, just keep in mind that Kiara was most likely going through chemo, taking prescription medicines, and she was literally battling a life-threatening disease every second of every day at that time. And although I've never been in a situation like that, I would imagine it really sucks the energy out of you. So for Leah to even offer to video chat anytime during the night, regardless of what time it was in their time zone, is already not empathetic to her condition at all. But then the next day, Kiara's mother messaged Leah, and yet again Leah says she's too busy, and obviously being frustrated after 4 days, Kiara's mother went off on her. Now in this last message, Leah says we can keep trying, but my days are usually very busy. That is just not true. She is a full-time reaction YouTuber. She literally is a YouTuber who doesn't make YouTube videos. She watches other people's videos and then pays someone else to edit the video of her reacting to other people's videos. That is not a time-consuming task given the fact that there are 24 hours in a day. And the entire point of achieving financial freedom through working for yourself is to have the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want. If you're still so busy that you don't have 5 minutes to video chat a dying child who looks up to you as their hero, you failed in every aspect of life. I'm sorry to say it. She claims here that her family was visiting from out of town and that's why she couldn't do it, but no rational, normal family member would ever judge her negatively for video chatting a terminally ill child for 5 minutes. Also, keep in mind, Leah is the one who proposed the fact that they should video chat on Christmas. So if she knew her family was gonna be there, why would she propose that? The conversation is in writing. And either way, if Leah truly didn't have the time, which she absolutely positively did, she shouldn't have ever reached out and got Kiara's hopes up in the first place.
I told her multiple times that I would love to chat her daughter, but we couldn't find a time that worked. My family is visiting, and I got sick, and I haven't had time. Hadn't had time? You've been messaging back and forth this whole— what are you saying?
I never thought I'd say these words, but for once, I actually agree with the gnome. Leah had the time, she personally chose the date, then said she couldn't do it on the date which she chose. And unfortunately, Kiara passed away about a week and a half after after that whole situation went down. I've left a link to her family's GoFundMe in the description down below, but according to Leah, at one point before then, they did end up talking together, but take that with a grain of salt, because as we all know, Leah is not exactly the most reliable source for anything, but either way, that alleged call only ended up happening after Leah was pressured into doing it by the entire internet, which I find to be ridiculous. If you don't have the time or the care to influence, then don't sign up to become an influencer. It's as simple as that. This should have never had anything to do with online reputation. It was about real human empathy, which Leah herself has already admitted that she lacks.
I never really talk about this because I feel like there's something wrong with me, where to some degree I lack empathy. There are a lot of things I don't care about, things I probably should care about that I don't.
Trust me, Leah, you didn't even need to tell us that. It's quite apparent. And to be honest, Leah should feel ashamed for how grossly despicable her behavior in this case scenario was. This situation alone makes Leah permanently irredeemable in my eyes, because one individual human being should not be able to do something so disrespectful to all of mankind that you somehow end up making Gnome Star and Cuck22 look like the good guys. Her behavior in this situation was so disgusting that I'm not even sure it's possible for anyone to defend her over this.
Leave SSSniperwolf alone. She's doing nothing wrong. She has the right and the freedom to ghost anybody she doesn't want to put her time to. Just because somebody has cancer and they're gonna die soon and you agreed to talk to them soon on FaceTime doesn't mean that she's obligated to spend any of her time talking to the terminally ill kid with cancer. Okay? She has better things to do with her time. She's an important woman, she's famous, and she's a very good-looking woman.
If you don't shut your fucking mouth, I will kill you.
And the worst part about all of this is the fact that although she did allegedly end up doing it due to external societal pressures, Leah probably spent more time with the mother making excuses than she did with Kiara. So as far as I'm concerned, this situation is infinitely worse than armed robbery or disorderly conduct, and ultimately, it's just another reason why
This dude needs to be in a fucking cage. Put him in a cage!
And as I mentioned earlier, Leah often uses search engine optimization tactics in an attempt to suppress her controversies. And just like she did with the Omegle videos, I think she did the same thing with Kiara. She posted this video titled, "Dying Man Adopts Terminally Ill Child," and although it's not a direct copy of exactly what happened, given Leah's undeniable track record of using this SEO tactic for basically every controversy she gets into, I can say quite confidently this video was nothing but an attempt to suppress totally valid criticisms against her.
Bro, when does this end? It's just, it keeps escalating and escalating and escalating further and further.
When it comes to Leah, it's a never-ending saga. In addition to being a hypocrite, a liar, a fraud, the whole nine, Leah is also a cheater.
She texted me saying, "Hi, you're cute. Never secrets, flirted, slept with any guy but my man." Wait, do people really think I tried getting with anyone from FaZe? Other way around, kids.
It's a liar, guys.
Last time I checked, when you text somebody saying, "Hi, you're cute," that tells me that's the most obvious way of flirting. Yannette, how would you feel right now if you're in the other room and I told you I'm editing a video and I text some girl named Johanna and I say, "Hi, you're cute"?
Huh?
I don't know, it's just a random name I made up. That makes you angry, doesn't it?
Yes, of course.
Now, most people would consider that to be pretty clear-cut evidence of cheating. Leah had been dating Sausage at the time for years at that point, and in the message above the cheating, she also messages Censor and says that she was in an abusive relationship, which, if that's true, that's obviously horrible. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. But if that truly were the case, the solution to that problem isn't to turn around and cheat. The answer is to do absolutely everything you can to remove yourself from that situation as soon as possible, which didn't happen because they stayed together for an additional 7 years after that message was sent. Now, I usually steer clear of diving into people's personal lives. In my opinion, Censor shouldn't have ever leaked the messages in the first place, because what's said and done in private should stay in private, in my opinion. But I'm judging this situation based on what's publicly available, and what's publicly available is Leah explicitly speaking out against cheating.
Next question is from Adam. Have you ever cheated on someone? No, I have never cheated on someone before. Cheating is bad. Cheating is bad.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
So, cheating is bad, but cheating in writing, while knowing that you're famous, is totally fine.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And of course, Leah's response to those text messages being leaked was exactly what you would expect. She went on to accuse Censor of doing the exact same thing he proved that she did to him. But of course, she didn't actually show any proof of Censor reciprocating this behavior, and then she wrote this Notes app essay where she calls the conversation fake, and then she claims that once the phone companies get a subpoena, they won't be able to verify that the messages are real. So Censor did the most Sigma male thing I've ever seen anyone do. He literally drove to the Verizon store and verified with 1000% certainty that the text messages were real.
I'm gonna take the computer over here to the man in the back. Guys, check this out. Can I see that?
No.
Read the conversation, guys. He said lie about what the person said about the text to Doug, and then he said she isn't lying, those conversations are fake. I'm gonna show you these conversations are not fake. Censor. I said, who's Censor? She said, I don't know, some guy gave my number to you. And I said, I heard great things, how'd you mention it? I said, we're heading down for a meeting, I don't know when we get out, but you're welcome to come with us to the movies tonight because we wanted to make a collab video, so we invited her out with our team. I was playing on FaZe at the time. So I'm just gonna change the text messages from top to bottom, and I'm gonna show you guys where the text message is of her saying what she said that I posted in the picture yesterday. So here you guys go, this is the same exact text message, May 11th, 2015 at 12:48 a.m. Sounds good. This was a week before, May 18th. Hi, you're cute.
And once Leah was caught dead to rights, Leah's husband at the time, Sausage, texted Censor these books, essentially threatening to sue him, all because his wife chose to cheat on him, which in my opinion is just ridiculous. Threatening to sue an external third party because your partner cheated on you is like trying to fix a leaky faucet when the whole pipes burst. Doesn't make sense to do it. This ultimately was not that big of a deal. It's not like this is undeniable evidence that she and Censor actually did anything together, but it is just another bit of proof showing Leah's attempt at deceiving her audience.
And of course, kids are gonna believe anything you tell them.
Anyone is more than welcome to do whatever they want in their own personal lives. Doesn't affect me whatsoever, but when you publicly lie to millions of people, both in writing and on video, and you tell your fans cheating is bad publicly, then turn around and do it, then publicly try and weasel your way out of the situation through lies, deception, and the threat of a lawsuit, that cannot be classified as anything but scummy.
I want to live my life the way I want to live my life, by being a worthless scumbag.
And this brings me to the number one issue that I personally have with Leah, which is that she knows for a fact she's not a good or positive role model for the youth, yet she still chooses to make content that is aimed specifically at children. And the fact that she does have a child audience is the main reason why I mean it when I say she is a straight up menace to society.
You were reacting to like poorly locked up things and ATMs that had tape on them, stuff like that. And you were looking at a bike that had been locked up to the sign outside of a cafe. And your take on this, you assumed the point of view of the person who was about to have their bike stolen. And you were talking to them about how you could avoid this happening. So you assumed the role of the victim in this scenario. You were like, all right, guys, so here's how you would lock this up. And you added a little detail of, okay, so there's two ways this is wrong. He's locked it to a sign that can be moved, and also they've locked it to the wheel, which allows the thief to basically pick up the bike and walk it away, and they can take the wheel off later. You're like, you have to lock it to the bike frame. And then Leah's version is completely from the perspective of the bike thief. She's like, free bike? And her hands are like, she imagines herself stealing the bike. You see her like acting out, taking the bike. And then she's like, and imagine that idiot when he walks out and he's like, where's my bike? Ha ha! She's completely from the perspective of the criminal. So it's
I thought you were going to say that she'd just like open her mouth and be like, wow guys, that's crazy. But yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, it's worse. It's worse.
Through the type of behavior that was just described there, Leah can have a profound negative impact on her extremely large, impressionable young audience. To really put into perspective how large Leah's channel is, she's gotten more than 24 billion views over the course of her career. That is 4 times as many humans as there are on this planet. Let's be conservative and estimate that even half of those 24 billion views are kids. No matter how you cut it, that's still a problem, especially when you take into account the fact that on the surface, Leah appears to be massively successful. And obviously every kid out there wants to be successful just like Leah.
Like, so many kids watch my videos and they're like, I want to be a YouTuber too, and they think I have a really cool job. And I'm so grateful to like have this job. And I gotta go wipe these tears. Okay.
and as what I would consider to be a somewhat normal human being, regardless of whether or not it affects me personally, I don't think it's healthy in any way for millions of children out there to be looking up to someone as evil as Leah. Now don't get it confused, I'm definitely not saying I'm any better, I'm just as bad as Leah, probably even worse depending on who you ask, which is why I don't make videos that are aimed directly at children like Leah.
These are my little friends. They're gonna have to scoot over. I sit in between them. So this is where I like to sit and watch tiki-talkies.
The problem with Leah is the fact that she lacks the self-awareness that would prevent a person like her from making content for kids in the first place, despite the fact that she's the absolute antithesis to the type of person kids should be looking up to. Leah certainly isn't a wolf. Wolves are pack animals, and they're very protective of their youth. Wolves are intelligent, loyal, and resilient. Leah's never been any of those things, and she's never been a wolf. She is a snake hiding in plain sight.
And you should look at the snake because you want to know what it does, but you should stay away from it because it's a snake. So you're kind of screwed in terms of your motivations, right? One is get the hell away, and the other is, well, don't let that thing do anything that you're not watching.
And when you're dealing with a venomous snake like Leah, the best thing you can do when it starts to approach you is just stomp it out. Or you can just get your flamethrower out and ensure the immediate end of its existence.
You know me, I'm like a pseudo comedian. I'm not quite funny, but I'm there. I'm almost there.
Yeah.
So every time I make a really good point, I gotta fucking ruin it. You know, it's like I gotta fucking ruin it.
Anyways, millions of children out there are idolizing someone who ghosts a child who's dying from cancer, who verifiably stole their entire personality, accent, and all their content, who will do and say anything for an extra $1 or $2, and that's just not healthy.
Honestly, if I had kids, they getting a spanking for looking up to somebody like that.
And while I'm certainly no expert in child development, based on my extensive experience as a former child, something tells me that millions of children out there idolizing someone whose entire career is based on a bunch of lies and theft isn't exactly healthy. Ideally, the youth should be idolizing someone who's honest, strong, and has integrity, not the opposite of those things, which is lying, gaslighting, and cowering behind false DMCA strikes, doxing, slander, and bullying whenever criticized in the slightest bit. So if there are any younger people out there watching this, if there's one piece of advice I can give you, it would be don't ever watch Sniperwolf, and instead
empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. Like that, is it?
I see, I get the idea. I get the...
Everything that was just said there is the opposite of what Leah stands for. If Bruce Lee is water, Leah is a brick. Rigid, useless in most case scenarios, and has the same personality as a turd.
This bitch has the personality of a turd. I kinda do.
At the end of the day, making the type of content that children watch does require, at the very least, a little more responsibility, accountability, and self-reflection for your actions.
I say we're basically babysitting the internet's kids. It's like when mom and dad want to go do their own thing, we babysit their kids for them.
I think it's very nanny-like.
And if you don't take the necessary accountability for your actions, that can potentially lead to severe delusion. And that delusion can potentially trickle down to the iPad babies who watch her content over the course of hundreds and hundreds of hours. And that's obviously not good.
Maybe there's a possibility that there's a difference.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Maybe there's a possibility that you're retarded.
And the main issue with Leah having a child audience is the fact that sometimes Leah will give her impressionable audience advice on some pretty serious stuff.
I thought this would be a pretty important video to do just because school is coming up and a lot of you guys have started school. I actually wanted to make this video because a lot of people have been either tweeting at me, messaging me, emailing me about mental health issues like either anxiety, depression, and I know a lot of you guys who are messaging me, either your stories or telling me about your anxiety or depression or just things going on in your life. I know a lot of you guys are really young.
Yeah, regardless of whether or not the advice that's being given on this subject is good or not, nobody on this planet, regardless of their age, age should be taking advice on mental health or depression from a human being who has tweeted 53,000 times.
This is a sickness! It is deviant, therefore we don't want it.
I mean, even Leah herself has admitted that her life just didn't change at all during quarantine.
How do you spend your quarantine? What are you gonna do when it's over? Is quarantine still going on? We still supposed to be in quarantine? Because I think it just like ended a while ago. Like I've been going to restaurants and stuff. Not a lot, but I've been to like 3. I don't know, quarantine has been kind of the same. It just sucked because I couldn't go out to eat with my friends, which is basically one of the only activities I ever do. Things have pretty much been the same.
Now, I understand that people just use the insult of not going outside to anyone they don't like on the internet, and that ends up watering down the meaning as a whole. But based on her answer to that question, Leah is essentially a modern day troglodyte, and she most likely has a severe vitamin D deficiency. If you yourself admit that your life didn't change at all from the time that we were all mandated to just sit in our homes all day, every day, you should probably get your own life sorted out instead of wasting your breath giving kids advice on mental health and depression.
Does she have friends? Does she have family? To me, it seems like she's by herself all day with infinite time on her hands. Like she has all day to record these videos, make all these TikToks, to react to all these videos.
So although it's fantastic and even commendable that Leah was willing to help her fans, getting mental health or depression advice from someone who's factually addicted to social media is like getting advice from a cow on how to throw a right hook. Doesn't make sense to do it. And I just love this tweet she made around the time she ghosted the terminally ill child with cancer, where at the end of it she claims, "I don't usually use Twitter," which is just rich. I mean, I just hate when I trip and fall and accidentally end up tweeting 53,000 times. Now, I did notice that Leah's videos were getting a ton of dislikes and hate comments even before the doxing took place, and I personally condemn that to the highest degree. I definitely don't think people should be leaving hate comments or mass disliking Leah's videos. From a viewer's perspective, it's best to not stoop down to the level of people like SSStalkerwolf. As I've always said, arguing with people you do not know over text communication is futile, the insults are arbitrary, and in general, it's best to just leave that practice exclusively for the clowns. And I'm only mentioning this because I'm pretty confident in saying that Leah is most likely going to be taking hours out of her day to cope in my comment section on burner accounts like the soulless, Twitter-addicted android that she is.
I also feel like she's using fake accounts to like spread the rumors as well, because there's like these really wild rumors that get spread specifically under videos where somebody is making exposed video on her and I'm not mentioned. Then there'll be these accounts that will go under those videos and respond to everybody being like, "Oh, you think this is bad? Well, you know what Azzyland did?" And then just make up some random lie. And I'm like, that's her. I'm sorry.
And if she wants to dox me for telling the truth, I might as well just beat her to it.
My name is Walter Hartwell White. I live at 308 Negra Arroyo Lane, Albuquerque, New Mexico, 87104. This is my confession.
And if she wants to resort to copyright claiming or striking me in any way...
You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers will be playing basketball in Pelican Bay when I get finished with you.
Ultimately, her coping will not change the fact that the general public's perception of her speaks volumes about the contents of her character, and it doesn't have to be that way. The way she's perceived is 100% her fault.
I live in a constant state of fear and misery. Do you miss me anymore? And I don't even notice when it hurts anymore, 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 anymore.
At the end of the day, someone like Leah only knows money and success, which are great things, don't get me wrong, but at what cost do they come? I obviously don't know Leah personally, but based exclusively on what she puts out into the world, I can kinda tell that Leah is the type of person who has excelled in one aspect of life, which is career success, but has failed in almost every other aspect, like personal growth, emotional intelligence, authenticity, and self-awareness. So my question is, what's the benefit of gaining the whole world just to lose yourself in the end. To me, Leah is a perfect example of why nobody should try and become a YouTuber strictly for likes and clout. That's how you end up with what I call empty fame.
I feel like if you want to be famous so bad, it's not gonna work out. I don't know, those are usually the kinds of people that have nothing to offer and they're just like, I want to be famous. Does something stupid. Bam, famous.
It's a hollow pursuit, and it's one that I consciously choose to avoid, because in most cases, empty fame is often accompanied by an empty mind.
I feel like everything bad about my reputation is based on lies that other people have made up.
Leah will tell you that none of what I just said is even remotely true, despite the mountains of concrete and solid evidence. And as a result of this delusion, she'll never in a million years take true accountability for her actions, because from her perspective, everything bad about her can easily just be brushed off as a bunch of lies. And this mindset, unfortunately, is where the real problem lies. We all know that making mistakes does not make you a lesser person, but refusing to acknowledge those mistakes and change for the better does. And Leah's consistent pattern of behavior becomes inexcusable when you take into account the quantity of time that she's had to learn and grow. It's a never-ending cycle with her. She does something that's considered to be bad by 99% of people, and instead of becoming a better version of herself as a result of her mistakes, she lies, cheats, and gaslights and posts fake apologies to get out of every situation, praying that the children who watch her content will soon forget.
You hurt people over and over and over, and then there's this show of remorse. It's not a show. I know you don't think it's a show. I don't doubt your emotions are real. But what's the point of all the sad faces and the gnashing of teeth? If you're not going to change your behavior, and you won't, why not just skip the whole exercise?
I would honestly respect Leah a whole lot more if she for 1 second embraced who she really is, instead of putting on some nice girl facade 24/7. Because when you put on a clearly fake persona, it might work short term, but long term, that facade will only continue to be exposed to the world. As of now, the only reason why Leah has continuously thrived as long as she has on YouTube is the exact same reason why someone like Logan Paul has continuously succeeded, because every single year there's a new set of children out there who are ready to consume excessive amounts of content. And although I have nothing but respect for YouTube, they made the wrong choice by choosing to promote Leah to the youth as often as they did in the first place, and then they doubled down on that wrong choice by giving her a light slap on the wrist for doxing another creator. But to be honest, I really don't even think the lack of consequences for her actions even matters long term, because although the world might appear to be unfair at times, and Leah might even appear to be a good example of that, in most cases it is fair, because as the great Darman himself often says, "What happens in the dark always comes to light." It may sound simplistic, but in this situation, it's surprisingly fitting. Although we may not always see immediate justice or accountability, it's absolutely inevitable. She's currently being obliterated from all sides. There's the upcoming legal action from her ex. Her own fans are unsubscribing from her channel in mass quantities. She gets ratioed on every single video she posts. Her comments are either off or heavily filtered, and that's only because she knows what she's done is wrong, and because she won't change for the better, sooner or later, it'll all come crashing down.
Eventually, probably soon, the world will recognize you for the pitiful disappointment you are. You are not worthy of my respect. You are not a god. You are simply bad product.
If you didn't know, the style of video I make actually originates from Leah when she called out Girl Gone Gamer in 2013, and with the release of that video, Leah helped popularize the trend of exposed videos on YouTube. And it's a vicious cycle, to be honest. One creator's downfall becomes the stepping stone for another's rise. And with that being said, there's an old saying that comes to mind: "My empire was built on your death." It's a cycle that could potentially claim me in the future, but for now,
only one among us keeps his Spartan reserve. Only he. Only our king.
If you like the video, you'll love this one on the screen right now about Logan Paul. He's basically the male version of Sniperwolf, or maybe this one about iDubbbz. If you like the video, like it. If you disliked it, dislike it. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member. And aside from that, I hope you all have a wonderful day.
Oh, hell no.